Welcome back to the Myth Series in Depth. This mission is the first mission of Act 4, the Soul of Iron. Remember that the Forest Giants had said that the Trow had poisoned the Soul of Iron, so as you would expect, this act focuses on dealing with the Trow. As you will see going forward, before we deal with the Trow, Connacht will need to obtain the Sunhammer that the Smiths of Mirthemne had been building for him. The journal for this mission occurs a couple of months after the previous mission, where Damas and Ravana had saved some of the refugees of the 12 Duns from the undead forces of Balal the Watcher.
Slowly the harsh winds of winter began their change into warm spring breezes as the world began to awake from its icy slumber. Connacht was overseeing construction of the newest battlements along the city gates when he spied a small army approaching. As one soldier reached for his horn, Connacht steadied his hand. The army was not Moagim's. Damas and Ravana had returned, and with them hundreds upon hundreds of Northmen refugees from the 12 Duns. Connacht raced to greet his returning friends. Damas and Ravana told him of their journey and of their narrow escape from the Watcher. From the gate, Heron guards approached Damas, cutting their reunion short. The Emperor had demanded his presence. Damas was escorted to the Imperial Palace, followed by Connacht, Ravana, and his troop of soldiers. The Emperor was happy to see Damas return safely, yet he was outraged that he would abandon his charge and take a platoon of soldiers along with him. Damas merely held his head, bowed in silence, and stated that whatever punishment he was given, he would accept. Ravana and Connacht spoke in his defense, saying that by disregarding his charge, he had saved thousands of people and delivered over 100 fighting men to the Landkerfen army. The Emperor came to see the good that had come from such a reckless action and decided upon leniency. Majarin appeared angry at the Emperor's clemency, but even his scowls could not hinder the shouts of rejoicing from the soldiers. Damas and Ravana embraced in celebration. Connacht slipped away from the imperial chambers and made his way to the streets of Landkerfen. He had an appointment that nothing would keep him from. He had received a message from Traval of the Smiths of Mirthemne. The Sunhammer was finally completed.
As I mentioned before in the last mission, Ravana and Damas did not leave Landkerfen with the permission of the Emperor. They returned with Connacht focused on building up the defenses of Landkerfen as they are expecting Moagim to attack at any time. While the Emperor was happy to see them return safely, he was not at all happy with them abandoning their posts. Damas, being the loyal man that he is, bowed his head to the Emperor, being willing to serve whatever punishment the Emperor chose to give him. Ravana and Connacht, thankfully, were able to convince the Emperor to be lenient with him and see the benefits of the refugees that would be joining their ranks. The Imperial advisor, Majarin, was not happy with the Emperor's leniency. Majarin seems to always be a downer, doesn't he? The end of the journal tells us that Connacht had received a message from Traval telling him that the Sunhammer had been completed. The mission actually starts with Connacht arriving at the Smith's Forge. The only problem is that the place has been overrun by cave spiders and spider cultists. We learned about the spider cultists being a problem in the last mission, but the game doesn't tell us why they are choosing to fight against the dwarfs at this point in the game. We will learn more about that after we finish the next mission. There are a few new units in this mission: the spider cultists, the cave spiders, and dwarven smiths. The spider cultists are actually mentioned in a couple of the flavor text in the Bungie Myth games, so MumboJumbo had a reason to put them in the game. One of the Macridia Ghost flavor texts tell us that the spider cultists were also responsible of some of the disappearances within Mirthemne. Also check out the flavor text for the cave spiders in Myth 2. Connacht could no longer ignore the atrocities committed by the spider cult, but when he assailed their shrines, no trace could be found of the Smiths of Mirthemne or their followers. This is definitely hinting at what is going to happen soon. There are a couple of images showing some of the spider cultists in the Tales from Myth comic. In addition, some of the portals within the Tane had images of the spider cultists on them. In this mission, we'll be facing spider cultists and spider cultist priestesses. The Wolf Age manual tells us that the spider cultists are humans who believe that the spider god Sirkosh will bring them riches and power. In fact, the spider cultists worship the spider god. Now, the spider god Sirkosh is not mentioned in the Bungie Myth game specifically, but you can guess that the spider in the Tales from Myth comic is likely Sirkosh. The spider cultists dwell in the poorest parts of Lankerfin and lack much combat ability. They tend to attack in sheer numbers and wear no armor and rush their enemies with knives. We will have no trouble dealing with them as long as we keep them from overwhelming us. The spider cultists' flavor text tell us of their servitude to Sirkosh and hints that they likely serve the spider god because of gifts that she gives them and because of their overwhelming fear towards her. Blessed are those chosen to die for her. Embraced in her web, we will live eternal. Her gifts to us are godly. Her might humbles armies and defiles her followers. Her hunger will never satiate. Thus our place is assured. Powers and riches, all flows from her beautiful web. The ceremony was elaborate. The new initiates made their way into the heart of the temple, the floor becoming dusty layers of webs. A light sparked, and the chamber was illuminated in blue light. There sat their god in all her splendor. It was the first time the initiates had laid eyes upon her visage. Many screamed, many fell to their knees, many frothed with madness. The Wolf Age manual tells us that the spider cultist priestesses are the mouthpiece of the spider god. They believe that Sirkosh will grant them immortality through her great power. Though they have no magical abilities, they do throw potions that paralyze their foes in a green cloud. These potions are made with a mixture of venom of the spider god herself and other alchemical ingredients. The priestesses will not hesitate to fight in melee combat with their sacrificial knives. The manual doesn't mention it, but her poison dagger will also stun your units while creating a pink cloud if she is to attack you up close and personal. The spider cult priestesses have a couple of flavor texts that tell us more about their potion of paralysis. Pain racked her mind. The song of the goddess echoed in her thoughts. She hungered. The alley was dark as she approached a beggar. The thin knife ripped through the rags, and the beggar's expression turned to pain and then froze as the poison worked its magic. Ecstasy filled the priestess's mind as she dragged the paralyzed victim to the temple. With long wooden instruments, the priestesses stirred the pot with its bubbling green ointment. Drawing a thin ladle, she dipped into her goddess's consecrated venom. Being careful not to touch the holy fluid, she poured the poison into a clay vial, etched with runes warning of her divine fury. Chanting prayers to Sirkosh, a spoonful of powder was added to the vial and corked before it bubbled over. We learned quite a bit about the cave spiders in the Bungie Myth games, so there really is not a whole lot new to say about them. Myth 3 does offer a couple of new flavor text for the spiders though. Coated in mail and fine porcelain, the many-legged offspring of the most holy god pulled itself from its silken birth sac. Through its many opalescent eyes, it surveyed the birthing chamber. An initiate moved forward from the crowd and bowed before the waiting child. With a blur of motion, the babe leaped and sunk its fangs into its first meal. Perched in its lofty web, motionless but not dead, the sense of prey far below, and slowly spun silken cord lowered its bulk to the floor. Without a noise, save the muffled cry, the prey was snared. As the rope of web the burdened spider climbed, and into the cocoon nest was brought the still conscious prey. The dwarven smiths that we rescue within the forge will aid us. These dwarves are the builders of the dwarven society, and they were the ones who helped Connacht by building the Tane and the Sunhammer that we are now after. The Wolf Age manual tells us that they forge weapons and armor as well as invent new devices and magical artifacts. Their great forge is set up in Lancrefin, and they trade with the people there. They wield a large smithy hammer and also wield magic rods known as flame torches in battle. These are the same rods that they use to weld and smelt metals. The rod can create a cone of white hot flames in battle. While these flames do not do a lot of damage, they do have an area of effect that the cave spiders and spider cultists are particularly weak against. The Dwarven Smiths' flavor texts tell us more about them, including their gods. Of the Dwarven pantheon, the Smiths worship 3 gods in unison: Hrolmundr, god of the forge, who smelts metal and makes hammers strike soundly; Steinulf, god of Travail, who expands awareness with commerce and the meaning of other cultures; Finner, goddess of thought, who is the spark of creativity and speaks to her children through their curiosity. In the sanctum of the Mirgard Forge, the statue of Finner stands among dozens of crammed bookshelves and parchment-clustered tables. In the books lining the shelves is transcribed every invention and idea thought of by the Dwarven race since the beginning of time. The Smiths come to the shrine to meditate, design, construct, or research the thoughts of the ancestors for ideas. Well, now that we got these new units covered, let's jump into the mission and eradicate these archnids from the Dwarven Smith's forge.
In your blood be cleansed. Die as her prey.
As you can see, we start this mission, and this is the Smith's forge.
Come with me.
Yes, sir.
And the spider cultists are here. Find the Forge Master Travail and rescue any Smiths you can. Exterminate the spider cult from the forge. So we start this mission. You can see we're getting this bringing this
received.
Dwarven Smith back to life, or back to consciousness, I suppose. So we start this mission. There's some spiders come down, and then a couple of these spider cultists are here to greet us. And that's, you can see he has like, the Dwarven Smith has like a mana bar. It takes a little while to fill, but every time he fills it, he can do that little spray fire with his magic rods. That's pretty nice.
Yes. We're moving.
You can see some of the stuff in the forge is burning. You know, the spider cultists, you can see some rocks, part of the wall fell, or roof, or something, I don't know. Maybe that's how the spiders are getting around. They broke some stuff, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Got some dead dwarf bits. So you actually have multiple routes you can go in this mission. I think going left right away is, but at least when I was practicing, by far the easiest. There's all kinds of enemies. These other routes, there is more direct routes, but this route you get a lot of more Dwarven Smiths without having to kill too many guys. So the spider comes out. He wants to go kill it. He wants to go at the Dwarven Smith. But you can see there's going to be these more spiders coming out along here after that one comes out after a certain amount of time. So you can just kind of fast forward it. So that way they're not like trying to come behind us. Yeah, there's one more. Let's see if there's any more. Fast forward a little. Okay. So we're actually going to go, if you go right, it's actually a lot faster because you come into this room and there's like a little path right there. You can kind of see it. This is as far as my window will go to the last screen, but there's a bunch of guys in here and it's really hard to kill without getting more Dwarven Smiths. So going left, oh no, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Got it. So going this way is by far easier, I think.
Yes, sir.
So we'll save it right here. There's really only a couple of battles that are tough. When you first come in this room, there's a bunch of spider cultists that will attack you that we got to deal with.
Yes, sir. We're on it.
Okay.
We tend to come one at a time, so we can easily take them. But we're gonna try to burn some of them.
We're moving.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
There's some more coming at us.
We're moving.
We just kind of keep our smith close by. And you know, we killed all those spiders. If we didn't kill those spiders and pass forward, they would been coming at us from behind right now. Which would have made it harder to keep our dwarf alive. So that's that coming into the room. And, you know, back here there's some dead dwarves. You can't raise either of these guys up. This guy kind of looks like you might be able to, but you can't, so don't worry about that. He's actually dead. He's not unconscious. Now...
Got it.
Put this guy on 3. Okay. So up here is a spider cultist priestess. Up here. So you see, like, let's look at the spider cultists. You see, they kind of have like a spider web tattoo sort of thing on them. And we're gonna run back while we look at these guys. And the priestess, like, you see, she has kind of like a web for a cape and like a spider helmet kind of thing and web dress or whatever. So that's kind of creepy. All these guys are running, so they kind of run at different speeds. So you see, by running back a distance, it kind of separates the priestess from the cultists, and it kind of also gets them in a straight line too, which we're going to use to burn the crap out of them. So that's our plan, is to burn them all, or at least a large portion of them. So we're going to wait till they're very close.
We're on it.
It wasn't as good as I was hoping for. I'm just trying to distract her. She actually,
Yes. Let's get him.
she has a pretty strong ability to stun with her dagger, so I might take needless hits if I just run into her. And I don't think, like, her throwing potions, I don't think they do any damage at all. If they do some damage, it's very small, but I'm not worried about it. So I took a little more damage than I wanted to there, but it's not a big deal. We did fine.
Got it.
Just because the cultists were a little bit more spread out than I would have liked.
Yes. We're on it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's another dormant smith up here we can get. So now we have 2.
units received.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there's a bunch of,
Yes,
we want to
sir.
go, so the last room is this way. Well, it's after this room. There's one more room and then we'll be there. But we want to,
Yes.
there's another dormant smith we can get over here
Okay.
by just killing a few units.
Yes, sir. We're
Okay,
moving.
so we're gonna follow this
Yes.
spider to this
Yes,
back
sir.
room.
We're on it. Got it. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna kill the spider real quick.
Yes.
Okay, now something I noticed is there's 2 dwarven smiths in here. Now,
We're moving.
if you bring both of them back to life, or wake them both up, a bunch of spiders will come at you, like 5 groups of like 6 or something like that. I don't know exactly, but I mean, you can easily kill a bunch of them with your dormant smiths, but you're gonna take some damage
New units received.
if you take both of them, because
Right.
Yes.
you're gonna have to melee some of them.
Come on, lads.
So I say the easier way and faster way of playing this and showing you is just to take one of them because I don't gotta deal with that fight. But if you want to get the other door, if you can, just know that you're gonna have to kill some spiders.
Yes.
We're just gonna take one of them though.
Come on, lads.
Okay, here's the spider cultist
We're moving.
priestess.
Got it.
So she's gonna obviously try to stun us.
Yes, sir.
So we're just gonna try to burn these spiders to a pulp.
What? Okay. Right. That must have hurt.
We're moving. Let's get him. Got it. We're on it.
So killing all those spiders,
Right. Come on, lads.
and there we
Yes,
go.
sir.
Okay.
So that's that room. It's pretty easy room, pretty painless.
Right.
Now we
Yes.
have the final
Yes,
battle,
okay. Come on.
which is the hardest
Yes.
part. Now, when you first come in here, you'll notice this priestess is. She can be kind of a pain because, like, these units won't want to rush you, and she'll like try to stun all your units. So like once you start fighting, a bunch of these guys, these cultists all around will keep coming in kind of like this groups of 5 or whatever for the most part. There'll also be a couple of stragglers. But with this priestess, there's also a few other priestesses, but they won't come at us. So we just got to worry about this one. So what we can do is we can kind of dodge her. So we can kind of send Connacht up. We got unlucky.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So we kind of got hit there, but that's alright. He only took a little bit of damage. So we killed the priestess. Now we can run back. Now see that. Now we don't got that
We're moving.
those paralysis potions to worry about. So now we can fight them fair and square.
Right. We found okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna.
We're moving.
We really want to use our Dwarven
Got it. Yes.
Let's beat feet.
Smiths the best we can. So they're coming at us. So we're gonna go flame these guys.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
We're on it.
So I'm kind of trying to get my guys to. My Dwarven Smiths to burn them all, as many of them as I can.
We're on it.
Okay. Let's beat feet.
So now I pretty much can't use them now because they're out of mana. So I'm gonna have to melee the rest of the guys that come up.
Got it. Yes, sir.
But we're doing fine. Fortunately, we got this priestess. Oh, she ran away. So sometimes these guys can stun too, this cultist, as you just saw there.
We're moving.
But it's much, much more rare than the priestesses. The priestesses, or at least, you know, from practicing, that's what I felt like. I feel like the priestesses stun at a much higher rate.
Got it. Let's get him.
So we just want to make sure that we're sending a couple at her at once.
Yes.
So now we'll kill this other one.
Moving.
So you actually have to kill all these units around and raise up the Forge Master Traval, who's right there.
Yes.
There's really not a whole lot special about Traval in combat.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Let's beat feet.
So as you can tell, there's a couple other paths into here along the wall. Let's see, there's one there. There's also a skinny path right here, which that goes to the room that I showed you earlier, that path. So that would be definitely the fastest way,
Beat feet.
but it's pretty hard to do it that way
Yes.
on Legendary.
Okay.
Okay, so Now we just have this last
Right.
group of units.
Let's beat feet.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Right. Come on, lads. What? Right.
Let's get him.
Right. Right. Come on, lads. Right.
That was unlucky. That guy somehow did not die from my forge, from my flame. I think what I need to do is put these guys closer so that they take the paralysis, and then we can get all these guys shooting.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yes. We're moving. Okay. We're
I'm getting
on it.
unlucky with her throws.
Let's get him.
Let's beat feet.
Oh well. Okay, now that they're dead, and now we can go raise up Traval, and the mission will end. It's a nice little contraption we got here.
New units received.
There's Traval.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about his flavor text next mission.
We won. Yeah.
Connacht and the Dwarven Smiths drove the remaining spider cultists from their forge. But they were too late. All of the forge's artifacts were missing.
The windscreen shows Connacht hitting one of the cave spiders with his giant axe. It also shows one of the Dwarven Smiths using his magical rods to torch another spider behind him. Although Connacht had driven the spider cultists from the forge, the Sunheimer and other artifacts were nowhere to be found. The lost screen shows the cave spiders cocooning Connacht and his forces so that they can be stored for a later meal. The lost screen tells us that with the loss of Connacht to the spiders, the Empire of Lancrefin would turn inward to fight against itself. Well, that is it for this mission. See you next time in The Spider God, where we will be taking the battle straight to the spider cultists and their god.